Salutations, dear viewers! It's me, Luna Songbird, and today I am reading to you Chapter 4 of Summer in the Prince's Castle to celebrate a 2-month anniversary of the book being out. And without further ado, we'll get into it. Chapter 4. What will happen now? It went on like that for 2 weeks. The three of them riding horses. When Sakura had to leave was when Lucy was truly lonely. Hugh and Saren saw this, and Saren asked her, "Do you like music?" Lucy replied, "Yes. Heck, I live for music." Saren then showed her to the music room, where there was an assortment of instruments from strings to woodwinds. Saren handed Lucy some sanitizer and said, "Use this if you wish to play the brass or woodwinds." With that, Saren left Lucy to play her own music. And so Lucy did just that, but she played the piano that was in the room. The wood was black because it was a grand piano. Lucy grabbed the bench and sat herself down and began playing. She couldn't play much without sheet music, but she had fun anyway, just figuring out which chords sounded best and such. She played and played until her fingers were sore. Once they were, she just went to her room and started reading some of the books she brought. It was dinner time when she stopped reading, and another maid came to her room to get her. The dinner was just about as normal as you would expect from royalty. When it was over, Lucy was about to walk to her room when Hugh stopped her and asked a very simple question. "Do you like to sing?" Lucy stopped in her tracks, turned towards him, and said yes. "But how did you know to ask that?" Hugh then smiled and said, "You sounded like you were having fun in the music room." Lucy said, grinning ear to ear, "Yes, I was having fun," and left for her room and read the rest of the night. In the morning, Lucy woke up, bathed, and did her normal routine. But when she was dressed and left her room, Hugh was hiding around the corner of the hallway. When Lucy walked around that corner, Hugh jumped out and yelled. Lucy then jumped, screaming bloody murder. Then they just laughed. "Oh my gosh, nice scare," Lucy said with a clear laugh. After a few minutes, Hugh said to her, "Come with me. I have something to show you." Hugh then walked Lucy down to what he knew as the castle's library. When they walked in, Lucy's face lit up at the sight. Hugh said to her, "This is the library. I noticed you really liked to read, so I brought you to it. You can come here when you like, and so long as you return the book before you leave, you can read the books here, whenever and wherever you like. So I will just leave you to it." Hugh turned to walk away when Lucy stopped him with a hug and said, "Thank you." Hugh replied, "You're welcome," and walked away. Every day went like this. Wake up, read, horse rides, music room, library, dinner, and room. Every so often, she and Hugh would have a conversation, and sometimes she would talk with Saren. It went on like this until 2 weeks before Lucy had to leave. Lucy finished the book she was reading and returned it to the library. When she walked out, Hugh met her in the hallway. "Hey," Hugh greeted her with a warm smile on his face. "Hey, Hugh," Lucy replied. Hugh then inquired, "Mind if I ask you some questions?" Lucy said, "Sure, ask away." Hugh then commenced to ask, "What are titles to you? And I mean the titles as in people." Lucy thought and said, "Nothing. To me, they are nothing. I mean, it's all just a label we put on people, so it doesn't really mean anything to me." Hugh then asked, "Then who are the people who have said titles?" Lucy then said with zero hesitation, "Just people. Normal people like me." Hugh thought of this answer and said, "Okay, last question. How do you view me and my parents?" This question shocked Lucy as she thought of the answer when finally she said, "I view your parents as friends. You, on the other hand, I do not know." Lucy looked up from the ground as she said this to his face. What she saw was a person giving his biggest smile, but failing to hide the sadness in his eyes. Lucy then said, "Now it's my turn to ask questions." Hugh agreed to this as she asked, "Out of all the books in your library, which is your favorite?" Hugh thought and said, "I don't know my favorite book, or book series for that matter, but my favorite genre would be sci-fi or fantasy." Lucy thought of her next question, "Have you been to America before?" and walked away slowly as Hugh thought of the answer. "Yes," he said, "last year to escape from the royal pain of the Duke and advisor bothering me about relations." Lucy then asked, giggling, "So you just happened to go to Utah?" As Hugh was catching up to her, he said, "Yes, the first place I went to was Salt Lake City. I was walking around the place looking at everything when I saw you and one of your friends walking into the temple. I was curious and asked one of the people you were with when you came out who you were. And they said, 'Her? That's Lucy Adair.' I thanked her for telling me and left." Lucy was in awe and said, "That was you? No wonder you looked so familiar." She was at a loss for questions until one hit her. "Why did you invite me here, Hugh?" Hugh was profoundly shocked, looked down to the ground as if he were thinking, smiled, and said, "Why, to get to know you better." And then speed walked off. The next few days were like that when they asked each other questions, and once Lucy got to a question that concerned her, Hugh would either speed away or change the subject after answering the question. After 3 days of it, she just asked what his interests were, and they soon found themselves talking about anime. This went on until the day before she had to leave, when she asked, "What made you have such an interest in me that you invited me here?" Hugh, shocked at the question, simply said, I do not know. Give me until tomorrow to answer," and walked away. And that is the end of chapter 4. There's still lots more to this book. There's like 29 chapters to this thing. So I hope you enjoyed this chapter. There is more to come. That's for sure. If you want to read more of this, be sure to like and subscribe. I'll try to post more chapters of the book as I see fit. Audiobooks of this book as I see fit. I would like to get a professional audiobook done, but this'll do for now. Now comment just something, anything, if you've made it this far into the video. And I will see everyone in my next video. But until then, may the brain rot consume you.